In just 3 months, I lost my job, my wife, and the roof over my head. One night, I sat in my car, cold, hungry, wondering if I had any reason left to wake up tomorrow. But that moment changed my entire life. I thought I had a stable life. I'd been a manager at a logistics company for over 12 years. I worked long hours, believing that providing financially meant my family would be happy. But slowly, I realized I had taken care of the money, but forgotten the woman I loved. She used to wait for me to come home for dinner. Then she stopped waiting. She used to try to talk to me, but I was always in meetings, on my phone, chasing targets. Little by little, I became a stranger in my own home. And my son, he used to draw pictures of me as a superhero. But after a while, all he drew was his mom. I was there, physically, but emotionally, I had been gone for a long time. When the company laid off 30 employees, I was one of them. I came home hoping my wife would hug me and say, "We'll get through this." But she said nothing. Her eyes didn't show love, just exhaustion. 2 weeks later, she left with our son. No screaming, no tears, just a single note. "I waited 8 years for you. I'm tired." The first year, survival. I lost count of how many times I cried that year. I lived in an old sedan, backseat piled with clothes, fast food wrappers, and the smell of damp hopelessness. During the day, I wandered parks, flipping through old newspapers to pass time. At night, I worked the graveyard shift at a gas station, doing what no one wanted: cleaning toilets, emptying trash, changing roles, dealing with drunk customers. No one asked my name. No one remembered me. I once had a business card signed off on hundreds of shipments a week. Now I was just the night guy. But in that silence, I finally asked myself, if everything is stripped away, who am I? Year 2 starting over. I moved into a small shared room, 3 roommates, a student, a food courier, and a Mexican cook. We didn't talk much, but at least I wasn't alone anymore. I got a minimum wage job at a cafe. The pay was low, but the customers were kind. And for the first time in a long while, I heard good morning said to me every day. I built a small routine. Wake up early, brew coffee, listen to soft jazz, and write a few lines in an old notebook. No rain today. A customer tipped me $2. Someone remembered my name. Nothing grand, but those little lines slowly reminded me of who I used to be. Year 3, learning to live again. I started learning to cook, not for anyone else, but for myself. I learned to meditate from YouTube videos, how to slow my breathing. I read books I used to mock about mindfulness, gratitude, emotional healing. I started a small blog writing in a raw, honest voice. No fake positivity, no polished posts. I wrote about sleeping in my car, wanting to disappear, and crying the first time someone called me by my name again. Then, the emails came, strangers thanking me. One said, "Your post gave me the courage to leave my toxic marriage. Thank you for surviving and telling your story." 4th year, peaceful life. I still made coffee every morning, but now I smiled at customers with sincerity. I no longer chased goals. I lived simply, slowly, and wasn't ashamed of that. I made a few new friends, people who had lost everything too. We met at the park sometimes. We didn't talk much, but our eyes understood peace. I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous, but I knew who I was. And for the first time, I wouldn't trade places with anyone. I used to think if I lost my title, my money, my family, then I was a failure. But now I know true failure is living your whole life without ever knowing who you really are. For years, I was just existing, not living. I lived to please others, to hit goals others set, to keep up an image the world called successful. But when everything was stripped away, I had to face myself, and I found out I didn't hate life. I just hadn't been living it the right way. I learned to be grateful for the smallest things. A hot cup of coffee, a day without rain, someone saying thank you. If you're at rock bottom, don't despair. It might be the first time you're truly alive. No masks, no pressure. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to lose everything. Sometimes that's the only thing that saves you. If you're going through something like I did, or if you've lived through years of hitting rock bottom, you don't have to stay silent. Share your story in the comments. You never know. Your words might be the light someone else needs in their darkest moment. And if this story spoke to your heart, consider subscribing. Here, there's no judgment, only people who've fallen and are learning to rise again together.